What's that say right there? Can you read it? Can you? It says made in USA. Wonder how many people know that. All right, well, during that last quarter portion of my ride back from Canada recently, my gas mileage went from 42 down to 25. And initially I thought it was the extremely high winds I was encountering, but the last couple tanks didn't have those winds and it was still pretty low, so I'm guessing it's something else. Plugs, air filter, hopefully one of those two easy things. Somewhat easy, a little difficult to get to, but it's all right. Side cover blew off if you watch my videos, but got it, didn't damage it too badly. I can fix the post. Got a saddlebag light that's got a loose connection, can fix that. Cruise control went out, but it's in this wiring here that goes into this assembly. I didn't want to mess with it too much during the trip because the starter button is in there too, and I didn't want to jack that up, so can work on that. And this light down here, bulb went out, so got a few things, and hopefully I can buff those scratches out. If not, I'm okay with leaving it. A little memory of the longest ride I ever took in my life. 3 days up, 3 days back from Canada. But as always, it's a good day on a GoldWing, even if you have to work on it. So already I'm screwing up. I had to, the post, the broken off piece of the post was stuck. There's this rubber grommet like those in here, but it was broken off and stuck in there, and as I tried very carefully but unsuccessfully to get that post out, it dropped down in there, gone forever. So I'll just have to figure something else out and move on to the next project, which is checking out the air filter. Get that seat off, done. And moving on to the next part, the center console. And we're getting there. Got to take a lot of stuff off, but it's not real hard. Take the pockets off, take the center console off, and I'll take the side panels off too, just to make it easier to get to everything. All right, we're getting there, getting there. I should disconnect the radio and stuff from the back side of this center console, but it's a real pain. I just hang it up. Get the side panels off though and everything, so that makes things a lot easier to get to the air filter and check everything out. There's some vacuum hoses right here that tend to dry up, that need to be addressed, and gives me a chance to get in there to the cruise filter and the sub air filter that I don't think it's been that long. I have to look at my log, but they may need to be replaced while I have everything open. Time to clean this baby up. Well, the air cleaner doesn't look terrible. It's a K&N. I don't know, you can see through it. It's a little bit dirty. You're supposed to clean these really more often than people think, and than I do. But anyway, it doesn't look terrible. I don't know how to tell, but we'll clean the air filter, put it back in, check the plugs, and keep investigating. Alright, I had to take my phone holder off so I could get this off so that I could get to those connectors right there. Something going on there that ain't right, because when I wiggled it, it intermittently kind of want to come on. So hopefully It's just some dirty connectors. K&N air filter, all cleaned up, oiled up, ready to go. Can't hurt, that's for sure. Something else that can't hurt is a tropical smoothie. Beach bum, dark chocolate. So I should be ashamed of myself. I don't look at my maintenance log enough. And in a way, it's good that I didn't before I went out and bought these plugs. These are the ones I just pulled out of the right side of the bike. They're, you know, they're fouled. I could probably clean them up, and they probably work fine. But I bought new ones, and that's fine. But I've only put 13,000 miles in 4 years on this bike. I mean, I just went over 170,000. Bought it with 4,000, but I'm definitely not riding this thing enough. But it's not going anywhere. It's awesome when I do ride it, so I guess that's all good. All right, fuel filter done. So next up is the oil change. One thing about oil changes, you don't have to take all this stuff off. You can have everything, the fairing on, for those that don't know. And you can just reach up behind the fairing underneath and get under here to get the oil filter off. And you know, pretty easy stuff. I highly recommend an oil filter wrench like this. It's so worn out. It just says filter wrench by Bike Parts. I don't know, but it makes it a whole lot easier than the other kind of filter wrenches. What I would say is just be sure when you take the filter off, or you put the new filter on, that the old filter's O-ring, which is on here, that stays on the filter. I had, I think it was 27 oil changes since I've had the bike. And the very last oil change, well, I guess kind of two, on the 28th oil change, I did not notice, because it's behind the fairing and everything, but I didn't look at the filter close enough, and the old O-ring stayed on this part of the engine. So when I put the new filter on, it had its O-ring, they matched up. Worked for a little while, like 5 miles, before oil started pouring out. Thought I blew up the motor. And I didn't, luckily. Maybe I'll put a clip of that little incident. Had to get it towed back, and it was all maintainer error. Me. Lesson learned. But you can go 27 oil changes, and that 28th one will kick your butt. So just pay attention to what you're doing when you're doing your oil changes, no matter what kind of bike you have. I've been using this Mobil 1 motorcycle oil, the 2050, for 22 years. First oil change, I don't know, probably was not long after I got it. I got it with 4,000 miles. It's got 170 now, 170,000. I don't know what the V-twin nonsense is about, but it's motorcycle oil, and she likes it. So one of the things that it's my understanding gets overlooked a lot with the 1500 GoldWing folks is this. This is one of the things. There's a cruise filter also, but this is called the sub-air filter. I'm not even sure what it does, to be honest. I might look that up and then add that in or something. But you need to take this off, separate it, check out the filter. The dealership didn't have one, of course. Not a big demand, but I think they can still be found online. If they can, I'm going to buy more than one. They don't wear, you know, they don't go bad that quickly for the average rider, I don't think. But it's something to check. So you do have to take off that, you know, this panel to get to it, and that's probably why it doesn't get checked very often. But also, what's that say right there? Can you read it? Can you? It says made in USA. Wonder how many people know that. GoldWingers do. So I unbolted the sub-air filter, get it out here. These two little pinch pinch deals are, you know, kind of a pain to get apart, honestly. And but when it comes apart, this is it. There's, you know, the foam. You can, a lot of times when it needs to be replaced, it just kind of breaks apart in your hand. So if you take it out, you know, you kind of punch your finger under it like that, get it out of there. You can, this, I'd have to look at my records to see when I replaced it last, but you know, this is in great shape. You know, you soak it in a little bit of oil, and there's still some oil film in it, so it's doing good still. But this is definitely the best time to check this. So, but check that out if you ever have it apart. Order that sub air filter. Otherwise, I think, you know, it could actually disintegrate and then go up through this tube, which goes to this sensor, and who knows what it does, but it needs to be replaced every few years. So check it out, you 1500 owners. So back to the sub air filter. This filters the air that goes to these two, and they're solenoids that have something to do with the carburetors. So if that filter in there you know, disintegrates, messes those solenoids up, then you're going to have carburetor issues. You may go in, get your carburetor rebuilt, and, you know, it's the sub air filter that's caused the solenoids to go bad or something. So it's not easy thing to replace, but a necessary thing to take a look at, you know, however often you think you need to. Depends on your riding style, I guess, and maybe how much dirt and you ride in or whatever. So just don't forget about the sub air filter. Okay, so this is the cruise filter. There's 2 bolts up at the top, and there's nuts, loose nuts on the back side, on the inside. So when you're taking those off, be sure to hold on to them or they may disappear. And then there's four nuts on the bottom of this, like underneath here on all 4 corners. You take those off, this comes apart, and this right here is the cruise filter, and you can see it's kind of a L shaped, so you have to fish it out. You put the new one in that's soaked a little bit, slightly, I think, in oil, and then fish it down in there so that it, you know, seats all the way down flush. And this one is fine because it's only a couple years, 7,000 miles since I last did it. But this is another one of those things. I don't know how the air, well, the air comes in here. I don't know. I actually don't know how it works. There's a tube over here too. So somewhere, you know, air goes in and out. And so depending on how you ride, where you ride, you may need to do it more often than others, or not as often. But this cruise filter and that sub air filter on the other side are definitely things that are often overlooked because of their location. But you know, it's not rocket science. Once you take this bike apart, you know, a few times, it's really not hard. And you need to replace these filters because, you know, if you don't, they can cause other bigger problems. So don't forget about the cruise and the sub air filters. So this is another example similar to the oil change example I gave earlier about you can have 27 successful, uneventful oil changes and do something wrong on the 28th one and it'll kick your butt. Well, this is a bottom corner piece. It's kind of difficult with everything off, but it goes down here on the bottom corner. Very simple thing to take off. Oh, not really. You have to push down on the top, and it's a little bit of a pain. But if you don't remember to take the bolt that goes in this corner out first, you will break that corner piece off and have to repair it like I just did. I've taken that piece off over the last 22 years numerous times, never had an issue, and this time I forgot to take the bolt out and that was the weak link. So take your time, make sure everything is removed in the right sequence, and I'm sure everything will work fine every time, hopefully. All right, it went on. It went together, and we will live to ride another day with this piece as part of the, well, so far, let's tighten it down, see if it holds. I think we're just gonna snug it and call that good. All right. We have some breakage right here. So time for some more JB Weld. Get onto there. That'll be a good backup plan so it won't fly off anymore. And getting this in this particular spot, I'm not going to take it off because I finally got it on, is a major pain in the butt. Oh no, I just like to do it by hand. So what we have here is 170 divided by